I mean, how do you go to the people and tell them to re-elect you with all these scams behind you? And there have been inquiry committees set up. There is the judicial inquiry set up into the killing of Cherister Field Thankyu, but none of that is in the public domain.
See, when we talk about scam, when we talk about judicial inquiry, when we talk about any inquiry, we have to follow the procedure as per mandated by the Inquiry Commission Act. Like in the case of Cherister Thankyu, the government will lay the report in the assembly, and based on that report, then the government, what action is action taken report have to be given to the people.
But in this case, the AIG is even promoted and given to be the commandant of a very elite force, the Special Force 10. This is what people are not able to understand, and we as the media, we are here to explain to people why government is taking such action.
We are not here to hide anything, but sensitive information leaking to the press before even the DG know about what happened, this is a very serious thing. So we take it not as 1 week, 2 weeks, we take as when is the report reached the government to study, then the step is to be taken.
Hello viewers. Today we have a very interesting personality with us on the program Upfront. We have been waiting for him for a long time to get this interview, this really close-up interview. So our guest today is Lahkmen Rymbui, Education Minister and also the Home Minister of the state. Two very contrasting departments. Because when you look at home, it requires very tough handling. It's all about disciplining the police force and all that, or disciplining the department. But when you look at education, it requires more compassion, more understanding. So how Mr. Rymbui is balancing these two departments is something we would like to hear from him. Mr. Rymbui first contested the elections in 2008 from the Congress party. At that time, the constituency was called the War Jaintia constituency. And then he contested again in 2013 from the Congress party, but could not win the elections. And earlier in a very informal talk, we learned that despite him having worked and implemented all the schemes possible, he couldn't come back, he couldn't return in 2013. In 2018, he contested from the United Democratic Party, the UDP, and won. At the moment, Mr. Rymbui holds home, education, and also border areas development. Mr. Rymbui, you took over the Home Police Department in 2020, February, after there was a hue and cry against the NPP Home Minister, Mr. James Sangma, and a lot of allegations, in fact, from your party that there was illegal coal mining going on, illegal transportation of coal going on. Now that you have taken over as Home Minister, has that illegality stopped?
To be frank, the illegality has not stopped 100%. Because we should know the background of coal trade. Coal trade is a very lucrative trade prior to NGT ban. And many of the people of the state, they depend their livelihood directly or indirectly on coal trade. But suddenly, in 2014, when the ban on coal mining started, so the people, they lost their livelihood, they lost their trade, and suddenly they try to circumvent the law so that they will be able to do the business. So we have seen that time and again. Just a few weeks back, we have seen in remote areas of West Coast Hills where illegal mining is still going on. And in some part of the state, and even transportation of coal also, we have seen that some, we cannot rule out that 10% it stops because people, as I said, they try to circumvent the law. But the role of the police, the role of the civil society is how to stop this. And the government, if you could recall, in 2020, we have come up with the plan and a scheme where to incentivize the people who are reporting this illegality, but it's sad to say that none have been reported in spite of giving incentive for them to take. So,
No, but the point is about the police. That we have police along the highway. Are they not looking at those coal trucks that are lined up every day by the hundreds along the Shillong Guwahati road?
see, if you see the case of coal mining, many trucks have been seized by the police and have been forwarded to the court. And it is not that all the trucks have been escaped, but police also have the limitation in the sense that there are thousands of trucks every day which carries other essential commodities or other material. As you know that most of the, especially this national highway from Jorabat till Ratachara, it is a lifeline of the Barak Valley and also from Barak Valley to the mainland India. It is not possible for the police to check each and every truck. But having said that, they are trying to do their best.
Mr. Rymbui, when this government came to power, there was a lot of hope for change. So, what are those changes in the governing or the governance system that this MDA government has brought in that is different from previous governments?
See, there are three-pronged strategy which the MDA government try to serve the people of the state. Number one, that the development, infrastructure development should be a priority. Number two, human resource development should look into as one of the priority. And number three, the livelihood of the people. So if you see that in infrastructure development, you could see that many of the village which never see the road have been connected. If you see that many village self-help group, thousands of them, they got the scheme from the government to help them improve their livelihood. And if you see in the human resource development, the government is trying its best to see that the people of the state, there is accessibility for them, whether in education, whether in healthcare. So we are trying to serve the people to the best possible in spite of more than 1 year we lost due to this pandemic.
See, I can understand that these self-help groups are very important in especially women's empowerment. But we must also learn from past experiences. We've had the EFAT project. They also set up self-help groups. But sustaining those groups, what is the government doing to sustain these groups so that they don't disintegrate? We know how the history of cooperatives in Meghalaya is. We had the Maukandeng Transport Cooperative Society. After some times, the members all decided to buy private vehicles. So the spirit of cooperation is lacking in Meghalaya. What is the government doing to make this a long-term goal of hand-holding, sustaining, and that the financing does not dry up? Suppose the next government comes in which is not MDA. How will you ensure that this carries on? Because this is about the people.
See, there are three-pronged strategy into this area. Number one is self-help group. Number two, the focus program of the government which is doing now, it's look at the micro level.
But focus is giving people, the farmers, 5,000 rupees as a one-time payment. How does that help?
See, every farmer, he needs some capital to do something. So you have to give them some capital, and in focus program, if there are 10 of them, so they will get 50,000. And we did
Also,
this.
you're looking at a cooperative kind of venture
Not
again.
a very loose type of cooperative movement in the thing, because as I said, you rightly mentioned that the cooperative society is in the state, most of them they have failed in the sense that, I'm not telling it's failed, that cooperation, when they grow, so each member they know that they can stand on their own feet, so they try to separate from the cooperation to stand alone business. So it is not that the cooperative movement fail, I mean all of them fail, but it helped the person to stand on his own feet and set his own venture or business, whichever he want to do.
No, I just want to ask, since you're talking about these self-help groups, are they being given financial literacy awareness? Because that is very important among our people. Many of us, I think, as a society, are not very business-minded, and we do not know bookkeeping, we do not know accountancy, basic. So what is the government doing in terms of giving people financial literacy so that they also understand the importance of savings?
The government of Meghalaya, in collaboration with many NGO in the state, they try to implement this scheme and see that this scheme is implemented properly, and moreover empower the business people, I mean the self-help group, so that they will know the financial literacy, how to maintain book account. Because as I said, at one point of time, we want that this also to grow. More importantly, that the next generation, they could stand on their own feet. So financial literacy, the block development office, and also with the help of the line department.
Can you name some of the NGOs that are being used to spread this kind of awareness, literacy?
See, different type of NGO, they are working all over the state. It's thousands of them. Suppose like in Giant Hills, like in or Amnorem subdivision, there are SURE society that are doing very well, and also there are so many society which are involved. I cannot name them, but they are working hand in hand.
We have heard of SURE.
So those type of society.
But the SURE is basically Giant Hills based. We don't have such an outstanding society in East Khasi Hills, West Khasi Hills. So, see, what happens in one district or two districts is not spread out throughout the state, especially not in Garo Hills.
See, if you talk about Garo Hills, if you talk about Giant Hills, and if you talk about Khasi Hills, there are also religious organization, NGO, which really help the people in empowering them through the scheme of the government, so that they come forward. Like in Garo Hills, if my memory take me, the Bagdil Foundation, they are doing very, very well. And even this in Giant Hills, this Don Bosco Foundation, they are doing very well. So I see that in time to come, with the transparency in dealing and with proper scrutiny, we will able to empower the people and know that whatever money is invested into the system, outcome should be there. We didn't expect that 10% outcome should, but at some point of time, we expect that outcome will be there for the benefit of the society.
Is there any institution in place to measure those outcomes?
See, every step have been accounted in a third-party account organization. Check the account of all the NGO, whether the self-help group, whether Focus, or whether MNRGA. It is done by the third-party organization. It is not done by the government, so that the people, there is a proper scrutinize of the things which are implemented.
Mr. Rymbui, you will agree that there has been a lot of hue and cry over the last 2 years or 3 years about the scams in the MDA government. So, as a member of the UDP and a senior member of the party, how do you account I mean, how do you go to the people and tell them to re-elect you with all these scams behind you? And there have been inquiry committees set up. There is the judicial inquiry set up into the killing of Cherister Field Thangkiew, but none of that is in the public domain.
See, when we talk about scam, when we talk about judicial inquiry, when we talk about any inquiry, we have to follow the procedure as per mandated by the Inquiry Commission Act. Like in the case of Cheris, thank you. The government will lay the report in the assembly, and based on that report, then the government what action is action taken report have to be given to the people. And regarding the other scam, which so-called scam or otherwise, because now I used to tell that we are very fortunate in the sense that now whatever you do, you cannot hide anything. You cannot hide anything. We are living in a glass house where the people scrutinize us, and moreover, that for anything, the people tend to judge many things in a fast hand. But when you go deep into everything, it is not as projected by the people. But that's why in governance, we cannot just take everything as scam or thing.
No, but when there is a cry, when there is a sort of allegation that there is a scam in the present police headquarters, for instance, and when the internal inquiry committee itself has found so many irregularities, why is the government taking so long to take action against a so-called AIG administration, who's supposed to be the staff officer of the former DGP? Is it possible for the AIG to acquire so many vehicles without the knowledge of the DGP or the Home Department?
See, the police headquarters is governed by its own rules and conduct of business as per the police manual,
Yes.
which you know. And number two, regarding the inquiry report, internal inquiry report, the police headquarters has submitted to the Home Department. The Home Department is seeking a clarification. Based on the clarification, whatever we will do, we'll do as per the rule of the law, as per the thing. We cannot just have a knee-jerk reaction on anything.
No, but you see, when so much has come out, I think it is important also for the government to assure the public that you are taking swift action. Because if a similar thing happened in the lower rung of the police, the person who committed such a malfeasance would have been suspended at least. But in this case, the AIG is even promoted and given to be the commandant of a very elite force, the Special Force 10. This is what people are not able to understand. And we as the media, we are here to explain to people why government is taking such action.
See, the question of promoting doesn't arise because it is the same equivalent post. Number two, when the order come out, the Home Department never know about the...
Oh, it came out before the inquiry.
All the process have been done,
Okay.
So we never know. But having said that, the government, as I said, we have seek some clarification from the police headquarters, and as and when information being given, we will take this case into logical end so that the people will know what will happen. And moreover, for any charge, for any allegation, you have to give a chance to the person, to the so-called accused, to explain himself. You cannot just take action then and there, because we are living in a society governed by the rule of law.
We understand that very well, that the accused has to be given a chance, but now it's almost 2 weeks since the inquiry report came out, and still he hasn't been called to give explanation.
See, it is not 2 weeks the report have been out. Report have been leaked. This is a very serious matter, which the internal report could be leaked to the public. This is a serious matter. The government will take a necessary step. We are not here to hide anything, but sensitive information leaking to the press before even the DG know about what happened. This is a very serious thing. So we take it not as 1 week, 2 week, we take as when is the report reached the government to study, then the step is to be taken. Because whatever is written, whether in the newspaper, in the leaking report, whether that report is same with the inquiry report, that is for the department to see, look and see.
As they say, Caesar's wife must be as clean as Caesar. So what the public want is that we cannot demoralize the police force. And this, what is happening, 29 vehicles parked in the home of an AIG, a truck being used completely for his own private service, and POL and everything going from the Home Department. I think even you will agree as Home Minister that it's something that has never happened in the past in Meghalaya.
Frankly speaking, it happened everywhere. You have seen that previously ML01 go drop their children to school. Whose POL they are spending? ML01 go to for fishing. Whose POL they have spending?
No, but is that ethical?
I mean, which is not used, which is against the conduct of the officer concerned. So everything, whatever property of the government, you should use is for the common purpose. But you have seen that. So let us wait and see how is the after we get information, then internal the inquiry by the Home Police will institute. Then we'll see.
In August, in fact, to be precise, on the 15th of August 2021, you resigned as Home Minister because of what happened to Cherista. Then you also, made a very strong point that there should be a judicial inquiry. For some reason, the Chief Minister did not accept your resignation. Why did you continue?
It is the question of that the Chief Minister have accept what I propose, that judicial inquiry into what that incident should happen, and it is institute and report have been submitted, and the report will be laid in the table of, in this assembly on the 9th of August. And regarding my continuation as the minister, because the Chief Minister in his own wisdom, he refused to accept my resignation. Because of that reason, then I continue till now.
Okay. So your General Secretary, UDP, has time and again criticized the police and said many things that actually should have been said in the internal meetings of the party. What do you have to say about that?
I have not seen his statement regarding that thing, so
it comes every time in the newspaper that General Secretary said this, General Secretary said that.
I seldom read the newspaper.
Okay. So we'll come now to another important department, which is education. We had the recent teachers' strikes, teachers sleeping on the road. And finally, the person who resolved that matter is not you, but the Deputy Chief Minister. How come? How did you trade roles?
See, it is not a question of trade rules. On that day, if you see the order of the Secretary Education, there is a meeting between the Deputy Chief Minister, the Education Minister, CS, and then Secretary Education. We took a decision because we from the government, from Education Department, we didn't have any more budget to take from us to pay the teacher's salary. So we request the Finance Department that kindly provide us from the corpus fund so that we could ease the hardship of the teachers. But the Finance Department also, because they have their own constraint. So, but in that meeting, we took a decision that the Finance Department should release from the corpus fund so that we could pay the salary of the teachers.
No, but this could have been done by you. I mean, you could have called the teachers for a talk. Why did it take the Deputy Chief Minister to organize that meeting? Is it
See,
because they didn't respond to your call for a talk?
it is not the question of didn't respond or respond. We are trying to solve the issue at hand. Try to resolve the issue at hand, and the chief minister is not there in that on that day. He's on tour. Then I call the chief minister that the matter have to be resolved. I need the money. I need the money as from the corpus fund. Then he told that you can let the deputy chief minister call a meeting between finance department, education department, and myself, and in that decision we take that decision to take loan from the government through the corpus fund.
Okay. See, we know that education in Meghalaya as a department is a very messy department. It was handed over to you, perhaps with a lot of hope that you will streamline a lot of the unnecessary, the different statuses of teachers and all that. But that hasn't happened. I don't know whether it is possible to do that. That is point number one. And point number two is that there are several schools in this state where teachers do not attend. We are now doing a very thorough inquiry of school performance in Garo Hills. We found out that there is one teacher who didn't attend for 9 years. So how is this possible? Isn't there a system of checks and balances? Isn't there a system of monitoring? Because you will agree that when you were in school, or I was in school, we had the inspector of schools. Why is that inspectorate not working?
See, as you rightly pointed out, that education, it is not, I will not use the word messy, it is very complex. Not complex, which different things have different complexities. And when we took over, we found that, number one, there are so many posts of SDSEO, ASI, additional SDSEO, DSEO, or principal is vacant. We took a decision that to fill up this post, and we took a decision, and we have filled up the post. Suddenly, we know that the SEO have to be filled up. That's why we condone the service role with a personal department agree to condone that the person who been promoted within 1 year, he could become to the next post because that post is vacant, so that we could fill up all those posts which are due for inspection. I mean, do the duty for inspection and all thing. But unfortunately, while filling this post, there are some constraints. Teachers are not like other profession where they are longing for promotion. Many teachers, when they are promoted, if they didn't get in Shillong or they didn't get in July, they didn't go for promotion.
So there's stagnation.
Not, we are trying to the career progression.
No, I mean to say that isn't it true that if a teacher remains in the same place, in the same post for a number of years, that there is stagnation?
Stagnation for many years.
Loss of creativity, loss of motivation.
Stagnation for many years, but during our time we promote many teachers. But I'm telling that there are some, but in spite of there are some who are not willing to join when they didn't get the post in Shillong or in Juai or in Nongpo nearby. So again, DPC have to sit. And number two, now not that happen even in college also. In college also, the senior-most person is not willing to become a principal, and the 10th person is willing to become a principal.
So isn't there a way of working around that?
There is no way. When the people are not willing to go for promotion, you cannot force them. They forfeit the promotion. They remain as a lecturer or assistant professor, as the case may be. But to be a principal, to control the people who is near for you full time, there is some complexities. And coming to the point, how to streamline.
So you don't have a system where you can get a completely new person, an outsider from the system, to come in as that principal?
As of now, we didn't have the system because all the posts is promotional posts and have to be held by the teachers. But in fact, in 2020, December, if I'm not mistaken, we have tried to draft the cabinet memorandum that at least 50% of the posts should be direct recruitment for the post of SI and above, so that those people rise. They will not go again back to the school. They will be in the administration, so that. But that till now it has not materialized. And when you talk about the irregularity of the teachers, and now we have to start to implement these teams, teachers information and management system, and it is working. We have seen that the attendance of the teachers in the school is improving. And number two, when you tell about the case of so many absentees, the problem is that in those things, the managing committee, which is a watchdog for all those things, never report to the authority concerned to take a necessary action, because every school have the managing committee. And but if I'm not mistaken, in the year 2012, when this right to information come, that all the secretary of managing committee should be a headmaster. Then at that point of time, the headmaster being a secretary, no matter how much the chairman of the school call them, they never do that. This lacuna is there, where the secretary of the managing committee should be the headmaster.
How do you think we can change that? I mean, isn't there a way of amending that, considering that it is working against the interests of the school?
See, RTE is a central act, and education is a concurrent subject, but whatever law passed by the central government, it prevails upon the rule of the thing. But having said that, I think now, with the strong system of monitoring, then we will able to improve so that this aberration here and there will not be there, so that it will set an example that the teachers, their duty is to teach in the classroom and educate the children.
Do we have enough refresher courses? Because teaching can be a very debilitating job. It can be a very boring job sometimes, especially if teachers are not motivated. They don't get refresher courses from time to time, and we seem to have very little of that.
No. There are plenty of refreshers course. There are plenty of training program. ADB, in fact, for the secondary, more than 3,000 teachers have been trained. And through the platform of Nishtha, through the platform of Diksha platform, many teachers have enrolled themselves for this to learn, relearn, and the new way of teaching and the new curriculum or the new. So the teachers, I have seen that in this new age the teachers, they are longing to know more, because if they update ourselves, if they don't relearn, retrain themselves, it is very difficult for them to keep up with the knowledge of the student in the school, because now students, they are very creative and they know.
The teachers now have to play a different role, not just teaching, because book knowledge the children can get from the internet, much more. So let me come to this question about mental health. You know that during the pandemic, there's a lot of dropping out. There's a lot of missed opportunities, especially if we go to the rural areas. Many young people have dropped out. If we go even to Jaintia Hills, recently I spoke to a lot of young people who are 9, 10, 11, 12 years. They're looking after the sheep. And they said that we go for night school, but 12-year-old is going to class 2, which means it doesn't mean anything. Does the government have a plan to bring back these dropouts, young dropouts?
The National Literacy Mission, and in this new education policy, there is a stress for the adult education also, but first target is for the age of 15 to 35. So it is still the government of India is still sending the norms, the rules and regulation. I hope that with this intervention, we will be able to plug as much as possible this dropout.
Now I come to another very, very thorny topic, which is the CUET. Many people are very angry with the government for not, taking up with the center that we should postpone this, or maybe even not have it at all, because what this means is many of our people from here may not pass this exam and they may not have the opportunity of going to college. Why should CUET not be just for higher education, like entering universities? Why should it be about colleges? Because now what will happen is our people may not pass, and even if they pass, they will be given seats in different colleges in other parts of the country, which may be quite expensive for many families, and other people from other states will be coming to fill up the colleges here. So aren't we not going back in time then? Will we not have many more dropouts then from college or from class 12?
See, CUET at the college level, we didn't agree at all. That's why I have met the Union Minister many times, and through the intervention of the government of Meghalaya and our Honorable Chief Minister, at least for this year, it is exempted. But I see that we are still trying that at least for the college level, that the CUET should be exempted. And number two, regarding the admission into different college, that is left to the authority concerned. It's not a centralized admission. It is only a centralized test, not a centralized admission, which through the CUET, they will give you a seat everywhere. But the marks, the percentiles which you get from the CUET will be able to choose you which college have this cut-off mark, then you could apply there and take admission.
Okay. About these non-performing schools where you don't have even one person passing the SSLC, what do you plan to do with such schools?
See, in 2020, we have taken a decision. There are two schools, in fact, in Garo Hills, where for 2 consecutive years, the pass percentage is 0, enrollment is 0. But is better to withdraw, because it's not the government, to withdraw the grant. We have decided that to withdraw the grant. But at that point of time, pandemic happened. And there is a Supreme Court ruling that during the period of pandemic, nobody should lose their livelihood. So it is not only about the non-performing school, about the unitary, the school which don't have a student, there are plenty. In fact, I used to say, just yesterday also in the Teachers' Day, I say that the Meghalaya has the highest ratio of population to teachers ratio. Because if you come from nursery till university, now we have a population, one teacher is to about 55, 60 population, not students, population.
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 Which is very, very high.
Very, very high. We should not be told that literacy rate is very low or dropout rate is there. But why? The question is why. That is, there is something wrong somewhere, because there are some village where there are 3 schools. One school they have 10 enrollment, one school they have 20 enrollment, one school they have 20. So how to do? And people tell that why not combine the school? But how to combine? This is a Presbyterian school, this is a Catholic school, this is a Senghasi school, this is a so on and so forth. So it is not very easy for the government to take a decision. But at some point of time, government, unless the government take a strong measure, it is very difficult to improve the education system. B, the facilities to the teacher, or B, anything.
So I think we have taken a lot of your time. Thank you very much for giving us this very precious time of yours. One last question to you is, are you winning the 2023 elections?
See, in politics, it is work in progress. And you have to continue to work till 4 p.m. on the date of polling. So, but considering that the development which happened in my constituency, considering that the help or the implementing of scheme in my constituency, I think the people will re-elect for the interest of the constituency and for interest of the state. But as I said, election is an election. You are not winning till the last vote is cast.
Yes.
So we have to work hard, connect with the people, and I hope, I not only hope, I'm sure 100% that my people trust, and I'll be come back to serve their people of Seven Amrem. And if there is a combination and permutation after the election, we may able to serve the state. But my first priority is to serve the people of the
Interestingly, your rival candidate will be from the NPP, which is, you are in a coalition, but you'll be going to the elections fighting one another. That is the most interesting part. But we will end on that note.
Fighting election in Meghalaya is not mainly is not because of about the party. It is about the person concerned. Yes, party is needed, party help, and but ultimately at some point of time, you need the personality of the person is also more important.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So viewers, you have just seen that tete-a-tete with the Education and Home Minister, and I think he's given us the most interesting responses to all the queries. So we hope that you will watch this program and also share this the video. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Kublai.